The latest trailer for Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Episode 17 is raising serious concerns among fans, teasing what could be 3 major character deaths at Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital. The promo highlights 3 life-threatening situations involving Nick Marsh, Maya Bishop, and Owen Hunt. Meredith Grey asks Miranda Bailey to watch over Nick, while Maya is rushed into surgery after suffering severe burns during a rescue. Meanwhile, Owen is shown unconscious in his car after a devastating bridge collapse, with the vehicle slowly sinking underwater, one of the most intense moments teased so far. Given the show's long history of shocking character deaths, including Derek Shepherd, Lexi Gray, and Mark Sloan, fans are bracing for emotional impact. While it's unclear if all 3 will survive, the stakes are clearly higher than ever. Nick's fate is especially uncertain, as actor Scott Speedman is also starring in ABC's new series R.J. Decker, fueling speculation about a possible exit. Adding to the suspense, the show is currently on a short hiatus. Grey's Anatomy will return on April 30th with Episode 17, titled Through the Fire, followed by the Season 22 finale on May 7th. The finale is expected to feature the full of the bridge collapse disaster, potentially leading to a major departure, especially as Owen Hunt is already confirmed to leave alongside Teddy Altman. Despite the break, fans can rest easy knowing the series has already been renewed for Season 23. Still, with multiple lives hanging in the balance, the upcoming episodes promise high-stakes drama, emotional twists, and possibly heartbreaking goodbyes. Hey, lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy teases 3 major deaths in Season 22, Episode 17 trailer. Grey Sloan Memorial Hospital may be looking at a string of losses yet again. Between its long history on broadcast and its premise, Grey's Anatomy has seen its fair share of deaths. Aside from the regular demises in the Seattle-based hospital, for a sense of realism, the Shonda Rhimes-created medical project is also known to deliver the most gut-wrenching swan songs for its main characters. While some have had happier send-offs, such as Christina Yang and Addison Montgomery, others suffered tragic fates, with Derek Shepherd, Lexi Gray, George O'Malley, and Mark Sloan all dying. Grey's Anatomy opened the 2025 to 2026 TV cycle by killing another character in Dr. Monica Beltran, as she died from internal bleeding following the cliffhanger explosion from Season 21. The loss forced Amelia to take a sabbatical to deal with the grief of losing her close friend and almost lover. Since then, Grey's Anatomy Season 23 has kept its ensemble safe, but that's about to change based on the new trailer released by ABC. In Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Episode 17 trailer, via TV promos, Grey Sloan deals with 3 near-fatal cases, as Nick, Maya, and Owen fight for their lives. Meredith asks Bailey to take care of Nick, while Maya is rushed to the hospital after suffering severe injuries during a call. The most interesting out of the bunch, however, is Owen, who is involved in a bridge collapse. The promo sees him unconscious inside his vehicle as it slowly gets submerged in water. Watch the video below. Based on Grey's Anatomy's history, it's difficult to predict if any of these near-death instances will result in a major loss. Maya's return is interesting, as it marks the first time that the mothership directly acknowledges that Station 18 continues their work despite the cancellation of the spin-off. Nick's situation is also curious, considering his ties to Meredith. Beyond that, it's also worth noting that Scott Speedman currently stars in his own ABC series, R.J. Decker, which could be the motivation for his potential Grey's Anatomy exit. Why isn't it Grey's Anatomy new this week? There are still 2 episodes to go in Grey's Anatomy Season 22, but fans will have to wait a while to see them. The medical drama is not new this week or most of this month. The ABC procedural is on temporary hiatus until the end of April, when the show will return with back-to-back episodes, including a major disaster. Why isn't Grey's Anatomy new this week? The show is on a planned, 3-week-long break, starting April 9th. The reason for this brief hiatus hasn't been shared by ABC, but not to worry, the show is not in trouble. In fact, it has already been renewed for Season 23 by the network. In place of this week's usual 911, 911, Nashville, and Grey's Anatomy block, the first 3 episodes of the freshman series R.J. Decker, which features a few familiar faces for Grey's watchers, will air. R.J. Decker will also air a repeat in place of Grey's on Thursday, April 16th. Then, on Thursday, April 23rd, all three ABC dramas will be preempted by ABC's coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft. When does Grey's Anatomy return with new episodes? The first new episode, airing Thursday, April 30th, is titled Through the Fire. It's the 17th episode of season 22, and the preview for the episode reveals the reason for that moniker. In it, we see Ben Warren, Jason George, finding one of his former Station 19 colleagues, Maya Bishop, Danielle Savra, badly burned after a structural fire and in need of an operation by Amelia Shepard, Katerina Scorsone, and Atticus, Lincoln, Chris Carmack. The season finale, airing Thursday, May 7th, looks to be the real disaster event episode, though. In the second half of the preview, a bridge collapse leaves dozens of people injured, including, it seems, Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, and Nick Marsh, Scott Speedman. We'll have to wait to see whether either or both of their injuries prove to be fatal, although we do already know that, in any case, Owen is expected to leave the hospital in the events of the finale, alongside Teddy Altman, Kim Raver. Grey's Anatomy will conclude the season with just 18 episodes, similar to the abbreviated episode count in season 21. Grey's Anatomy, Thursdays, 10/9c, ABC Grey's Anatomy Season 23 release date, cast, episode count, how to watch and crew update. Your official Grey's Anatomy recap, Season 22, Episode 16. Aside from Winston and Jules, who are still keeping their relationship secret but are hanging out together in elevators a lot, for both kissing and quiet comforting purposes, most people seem to be on the brink of a breakdown at Grey Sloan Memorial. Owen has to face a crisis with his mother, Amelia deals with an enormous amount of pressure on her to perform, Joe's first day back proves to be a rough re-entry, Lucas is pretending everything's fine when it's not, which, always works, and Bailey is losing her mind over the Quan Hydrogel situation. Not to stress you out, but people are unwell on Grey's Anatomy this week. Let's talk about it. Mrs. Hunt and the ex-wives. Classic Owen Hunt, isn't it? Of course, this man finds himself in a situation in which he must rely on two of his ex-wives to save his mother's life. While he has pretty decent relationships with both of them and this only involves two of his exes, all three of his ex-wives happen to be world-class surgeons. Which certainly comes in handy when Evelyn Hunt is rushed into the in the middle of a stroke. Amelia is on her case immediately, and while it seems to be only a TIA, she and Owen agree that they need to get Evelyn a CT and run more tests immediately. The test results don't exactly have the best news. Amelia and Teddy inform Owen that Evelyn has bilateral carotid artery stenosis. Both carotid arteries have significant plaque buildup, so she needs to be on blood thinners and watched closely. Owen sits with his mother, who seems to be doing well. She, who we know is very much into younger men, is already feeling well enough to flirt with Dr. Wes Bryant. He's back after 3 weeks with his brother, who is still in a coma, by the way, and give Owen grief about being emotionally closed off just like his father. She's a multitasker, this woman. And while Owen may not exactly want to hear his mother telling him to open up more, it's a good thing he's with her. She has another stroke. This one is even worse than the first, and she needs to be intubated. Amelia and Teddy discover a clot in her middle cerebral artery, and it needs to be removed immediately or she could die. Amelia needs Owen to understand how risky this surgery is. She wants him to prepare for the worst. He just wants her to get into that or right now. Amelia and Teddy have a meeting in the scrub room. Amelia's nervous about the risk factors here, but she also knows she'd never forgive herself if something were to happen to Evelyn on someone else's table. Evelyn was a military nurse like her own mother, and while Amelia and her mom have a complicated relationship, she felt like getting Evelyn as a mother-in-law was a second chance. Teddy cares deeply for Evelyn too. She also knows that if Evelyn were awake right now, she'd tell Amelia to suck it up and get in that OR. And so, she does, with Teddy by her side. It's an ex-wife team-up. Unfortunately, they only discover more bad news once they're in there. Evelyn's carotid arteries are much more blocked than they looked on the scans. The thrombectomy Amelia is going to perform is risky enough, but Evelyn needs a stent placed too in order to prevent future strokes, and that only increases the risk of cognitive function loss or death. Amelia and Teddy tell Owen what's going on and want to wait a few weeks after the thrombectomy to perform an endarterectomy and place that stent. Owen says no. They can't wait. He knows his mother would rather die on that table than live with the risk of another massive stroke every day. He knows what he is asking Amelia to do is risky and that his mother could die, but the risk is worth it here. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.